This is Shot Science Overtime number 161. Now, we want to let you guys know that this is a live show where we talk to you guys, we have a topic for you, and we answer some of your questions. This is not a regular tutorial shot science type of deal. So if this is not your thing, that's totally okay. Don't worry about it. You don't have to tell us you don't like it. We understand. Go watch one of our other videos, and you'll be set. But if this is something that you want to join us with and get some answers and talk to some coaches, that's awesome, and we'll love to have you guys.
Yeah.
So what we do normally is we have a topic that we talk about at the top of the show, something that we think is going to help you guys become a better basketball player, maybe take your game to the next level. So stick around for that. And while we're talking about that, you guys are going to be sending us your questions on anything basketball related. It can be shooting, passing, dribbling, defense, how to talk to your coach, how to work on your athleticism, conditioning, whatever it may be. I think I rattled that list off way too many times in the past, so I've got it down. But let us know what you want to talk about, and we will get to your guys' questions after the topic. We just want to get some time for you guys to send those in so we have stuff built up to talk about. So while we're doing that, send us those questions. Make sure you follow us on all of our social media stuff. We are Shot Science on everything, whether it's Facebook, Google+, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. We do different things in all those different places. We'd love to have you guys there, so follow us there, Shot Science. Okay. Oh, Ramon Benjamin says, what up? And Suresh says, hey, yeah. What's up, you guys? So, yeah, leave us your questions in the comments, and we will get back to you guys. All right, so let's get into our topic for today, which is 4 ways to beat a zone defense.
Right. Okay. Well, one of the things I'm going to kind of qualify this with is that we're talking essentially about 2-3s, 1-2-2 type zone defenses.
So why do people get freaked out about it?
It's kind of interesting how when they face zone defense, it's different than if you're using a man defense or a man defense, and in the fact that you usually have somebody with you on a zone. They're playing softer. They may be jumping in the passing lanes, and so it creates another situation or problem for you.
Well, I think it's like you have like multiple inputs that you have to worry about. It's not like man-to-man where it's like, okay, I have this one person that I have to worry about.
Yeah.
Now I have to worry about a couple of guys in these areas that they're defending, and that can be a little bit confusing.
Right. Okay, well, here's what we're going to do. We're talking essentially about 2-3s and also 2-1-2s. I mean, they're pretty much the same. And then also 1-2-2s. And that's the zones we're going to kind of focus on. One of the things that's really important in beating any zone is to move the basketball. And movement of the basketball, we're talking about passing the basketball. And one of the things that we want to do is make sure that if we have the ball starting on the right, we want to get at least one full reversal of the basketball to one side and back to the other. Now, a reversal, we kind of look at it like this. A reversal is baseline, back around to the opposite baseline. And you can continue to work that until something kind of jumps up there. But ball movement is so important because you always find zone defenders who are lazy, who are not really having very quick slides. And so what happens is that we can kind of discover who they are and we can take advantage of them. So ball movement is really, really important.
Yeah, and you have to kind of consider, too, like what the zone defense is trying to do. They're trying to kind of maroon that ball with one person and have that person panic and either spill the ball out or pop it out or have them try to throw the ball out and then have somebody else pick it off. So you want to avoid getting into that situation.
Yeah, and one of the things we should be talking about as a part of this is that if we're going to face those kinds of defenses, then we probably want to have an alignment of our players like a 1-2-2 or a 1-3-1 with someone on the baseline who's working behind the defense. It's hard to keep track of that guy too. And so what we're talking about here is making sure that we have players who are in between their two players. In other words, if we got the ball on the wing, they've got a guy down low and they got a guard up top, and one or both of those guys are going to have to take and come and guard that wing. And so by creating those open spaces for ourselves, we're able to maybe get a little better look than if we just take and just kind of hoist it up there.
Yeah, and if you want to make it easy on the defense, just stand in one place.
Yeah.
They love that because, one of the things that they're trying to do is guard territories. Yeah. And if you're just parked, then they don't have to worry about you. So make it difficult by doing those things that you were just talking about, where you're moving without the ball
Yeah. And
or with the ball too.
we're talking about four things how to beat a zone defense, and they're pretty typical, but there are more things that could be put in there as well. It's not like these are the only four.
Yeah, these are just kind of quick tips and things that you should know anyway.
Yeah.
That maybe it'll take you a while to get these all together, but we'll help you get there in this quick little rundown.
Yeah, and one of the things that we need to do also in attacking these zones is we want to get the ball into the middle. When we get the ball into the middle of the defense, what happens now is somebody has to make a decision on, usually a person that's playing a little deeper, they've got to make a decision. Am I going to step up and defend that guy, or am I just going to let him shoot it? And so that puts them in a real difficult situation. Now, something that also is a part of all this is that a lot of players, I'm talking mostly about high school players and maybe even junior high school players, they do not look to the middle of the defense. And that's one of the areas where you can create the most damage, because if we can get the ball in there quick, we're able to take and maybe get an easy shot, or get the ball to the person on the baseline and they get an easy shot. So putting the ball in the middle is really important. Now,
Well, here's one thing too I'll say about that, and that is that we talk about this every week, but when you're playing basketball, you want to be the one that's directing the show, the one that's in control, and you want the other team, whether it's offense or defense, to be one step behind and always in recovery mode.
Yeah.
So when you're doing things like the ball reversal, ball movement, putting the ball into the middle of the court, that's what that's doing. You are making them have to shift and recover and get back and cover their spot and readjust, and that makes it so that you can actually find a point of attack, and they are always struggling to catch up to you. But if you were just sitting there and you're panicking and you're letting them dictate the show, then you're going to be in trouble.
One of the things.
So dropping the ball in the middle is one of those things where it's almost like tossing a bomb in there, because it's a reverse bomb. It's an implosion, because those guys collapse onto the ball.
Exactly.
And then all of your teammates, or you or whoever, they can relocate or just move, and then the ball can get passed back out to them, and they're going to be wide open.
Exactly. And so that's all really important information for us to keep in mind. And then kind of along with all that, let's talk about a 1-3-1 zone defense. Well, they take the middle away. And they're not going to let you have that ball in the middle and not have it contested. And so what you do then is the defense or the offense probably has to set up in more of a 2-3 situation, where we've got players in both the corners where they are not defended by a player. And the person who's in the very back of the zone, he has to run sideline to sideline. And so by quick moving the ball from side to side, we can maybe get a look before he can get there. If not, we can catch the basketball and we look right into the middle, and there's our guy rolling to the basket. And so those are really important things for us to keep in mind in attacking the zone.
Yeah, and when you're playing against the zone, you always want to be attacking those gaps and having somebody flash in the middle between those guys or right behind them, because that's when you're going to catch people off guard, and they have to adjust. They can't just stay in the same orientation. Otherwise, it's going to be a clear path to the basket for you. And so they have to adjust. That's what you want them to be doing, is always adjusting, and then you can make these opportunities appear by catching them off guard.
Yeah, and one of the things that's really important too is the person who is playing the middle. I like to have a player there that's a really good ball handler. Doesn't have to be a great shooter, but a great ball handler. So usually this is a smaller guy than we put in the middle. And you think, well, you need to have a big in there. Well, you stop and think about this. The bigs are usually not the quickest. They don't have the best hands. They can't put the ball on the floor very well. But if we take and put a guy in there, I know this last year, we put a guy in the middle of the defense who was about 5'9" or 5'10", and he was a wrecking ball in there, because he was a left-hander. He could attack the basket. He could get the ball out to the corners. And so having a person in the middle of that defense that is smaller, quicker, better ball handler really is going to help that whole situation a whole bunch.
Okay. Do you have another one? I think you have one more, right?
Yeah, there's one more that we think this is really important, not just in attacking his zones, but attacking man defenses as well. And that is this, that we want to take and fake a pass to make a pass. In other words, if I'm out on the wing and I want to put the ball into the middle, I fake that ball back up to the guy at the point guard position or to the guy who is at the low post. And what happens is that they have to take and defend those, and it opens up that pathway right to the middle.
Yeah, it's
And so
basically you're making them shift without moving the ball, and then you can go back to the other direction.
Yeah, and that fake of the pass, and even with your eyes, you look at this one person and make this little quick pass fake here, and then you go the other way. You're going to find that people are trying to step into those passing lanes where you're making that fake pass, and it opens up other passes for you to take and throw that are not going to be intercepted. And so the kind of the whole crux of attacking a zone, there's a whole bunch more to it, but this is 4 things that we choose to offer today. Number 1 is make sure we get good ball movement from side to side. And side to side means that we get the ball all the way down to the baseline. Whoever's on the baseline, want him to catch the basketball or her, and then we swing it back around the opposite direction. And what you find is that when that ball is made one complete rotation like that, there starts to open seams in that defense. Maybe you can drive it or you can pass the ball into the middle. So that's really important.
Well, stagnation is what will get you in trouble, and what the zone defense wants from you guys.
Right.
So don't stagnate with the ball at all.
Yeah, and one of the things that we should probably just kind of throw in here as an aside is that when we get ball movement, seams open. And seams are those areas between players that we can get into with the dribble to attack the baskets. That's important. And now, the other thing that we want to do that's real important, and we kind of mentioned this in several different ways, get the ball to the middle. Now, I'm going to back up for a second. Getting the ball to the middle. Something that I've found over the years is that when guys play in the middle, they track the basketball. And that is like this. All right, the ball is out at the right wing, and I'm at the right elbow, okay, or the left elbow on the same side. Pass it back to the point guard, and I slide up to the top of the free throw line. Then they take and go to the wing, and I go to that side. And they can keep track of you really easy if you do that. And so what we want to do is we have our post players delay, and they let the ball get ahead of them. And by delaying, it means that now we're coming from behind those players. That's not so easy for them to keep track of us. And so when the ball maybe gets, if we stay at the right elbow and the ball starts to swing away from us, and we kind of hesitate for a moment when the ball gets the thing, then we flash out into the middle and we catch it real quick, and we've got to look for a shot, or we look for a good pass for somebody else to get a shot.
Yep. Okay, so let's do a quick rundown of all of them.
All right.
Number 1 is ball movement.
Yeah.
You don't want to stagnate. You want to keep the ball moving. Number 2 is ball reversals. That's going to get the defense really off, kind of trying to get back into recovery.
Exactly.
And that's going to create those seams. Getting the ball into the middle, I mean, that's going to blow everything up for them.
Yeah.
You get it in there, and then you relocate, or whoever's on the perimeter relocate, and you will get wide open shots. It happens all the time.
Yep.
Because they collapse on the ball. And number 4 is fake a pass to make a pass.
Yeah.
Make the defense move with those simple passes, then reverse the ball the other way. It's a really great way to keep them. That's like 2 steps behind, because they've adjusted for that fake, and then you flip it the other way. They have to go all the way to adjust for the pass. Yeah. So you'll be in good shape.
Now, all that being said, there's probably 3 times that much material on how to attack zones. And maybe we'll come back and touch on some of those later on.
Yeah.
Not today, but later on.
Yeah, so hopefully that helps you guys a lot in figuring out how to beat zone defense. And, you know, it's one of those things where you need to not panic. You need to make sure you're kind of hitting these major key things, and you will be in good shape.
And having patience, I think that's what
Yeah.
Casey's talking about, is having patience when you're working against a zone, because it's only a matter of time if we get ball movement and if we get the things going that we're talking about right here, somebody's going to open up and get a really good shot.
Yeah. Okay, so hopefully that helps you guys out. If you need more help on that, just let us know. Leave us a comment in this video, and we'll try to answer that.
Exactly.
What we're going to do is we're going to shut that down right now, and we're going to get into our questions and answers section, where you guys have been sending us a bunch of questions, and it can be on anything basketball related. Keep sending them in. We're going to jump in here to the comments section. So send in your questions, anything basketball related, and we'll try to do our best to answer those. Make sure you follow us on all our social media stuff. Before we get into answering your guys' questions, we want to ask you guys a question, and it's one that we ask every single time that we meet now, and that is what?
Where are you from?
Yep.
We want to know where you come from, what you're maybe hoping to learn from maybe what we're putting forth. Okay?
Yeah, well, we want to know where you guys are from in the world. We are here in Santa Cruz, California, which is south of San Francisco on the coast. But we want to know if you guys are in Lithuania, if you're in Japan, if you're in Russia. We want to know where you guys are balling. And we're going to shout out a bunch of people when we start seeing those come up, like Joseph Wichard, who's from St. Petersburg, Florida, and I think he's here every week now.
Yeah, I think so.
Jennifer Bish is from Missouri. RB Fax is from Lithuania. Like I said, yes.
All right.
Let's see.
Turkey?
Is that Kem or Sem is from Turkey. Ed Ans is from Belgium. That's cool, you guys. Thanks so much for sending those in. Keep telling us where you guys are from, and we'll get more people as we go along. But that's so cool to see. Yeah. Okay, so let's get into our questions here, and you guys keep sending those in to us. Philip Jordan was asking, what type of zone defense are we talking about? We kind of talked about that.
Yeah, we kind of talked about that.
What were you doing? 1-3-1?
Well, no, we were talking essentially about 2-3 and 1-2-2 zone defense. And then we talked a little bit about the 1-3-1 and the fact that they take the middle away. They want to take it away, but they leave holes in their defense too.
Yeah, I mean, each zone is going to have a different look and a different kind of prerogative, but it's really... these main kind of themes are still how you would approach them.
Exactly right.
Okay, Demi Goat 2K says, how do I shoot off the dribble better? Practice.
Yeah, practice does wonderful things for your shooting off the dribble.
Footwork is huge.
And footwork is probably the next biggest thing that you can do.
Yeah, I mean, you go watch our video on, I think, the footwork for shooting, and we show you kind of how the feet should be oriented and how they should terminate, and how that last dribble needs to be a real powerful pop of a dribble, and that will help you get a little bit of rhythm going into it. One thing you want to avoid doing is hopping in. You want to avoid kind of awkward footwork. It's really that inside foot that you want to have as your stop foot, and then have your gather foot come around to help you get into the right orientation to go up into your shot.
Right.
And what was I going to say? Oh, so it's that stepping into the shot. You want to keep your center of gravity low and go to high.
Yep.
Because if you're hopping into it, you're going to go from high to low to high, which is a lot of wasted efficiency, and it also will take longer for the ball to get off.
Exactly.
And the footwork will help you generate the rhythm that you need.
Yeah, one of the things, if you have really good footwork, is that you're stable when you leave the floor and you're ready to shoot. One of the things that happens when we don't have very good footwork is that we take and we go up and our body is sliding sideways or rushing the basket. And when that happens, that really screws up the shot. And so if we can be really stable when we're jumping, we're going to be much more accurate than we are if we're gliding sideways.
All right, Malik Asherov says, could you perhaps make shorter videos because I can't fit your hour-long videos into my schedule and it's my senior year. I'd love to learn more from you guys. Well, we appreciate that you want to learn more from us. Yeah. If these shows are a little bit too long for you, then maybe they're not for you, and that's totally okay. We have a ton of tutorials on our YouTube channel that you can go check out that are 2, 3, 4 minutes long.
You can go back and look at this too.
Yeah, and if you go to our channel page, we have playlists of all of them. If you want to go to, I think underneath this video in the description, there is links to all these different playlists. So go check those out. These live shows are really to help people that have questions, and we understand that not everybody is going to want to watch an hour-long video. That's totally okay. Yeah. But this is a live show. We're here to talk to you guys live. Let's see. Bruno Castillo Zavaleta says, how do I penetrate defense if I'm alone? You're never alone.
No, unless you're playing one-on-one, and one-on-one that's straightforward.
Okay. I mean, has your team bailed on you? Are they kicking it in the backcourt? What's happening?
Yeah. Well, a lot of the same principles that we were talking about on the zone really apply to man-man defense too. And usually when you're playing with a team, there's usually some kind of a choreography or a movement of players to create a situation where one person maybe is going to get a good shot. And so that's really important for you to kind of remember too, is that you're not going to have just you being the shooter. Even if you're a really great shooter, there's other people going to have to get shots off as well.
Well, yeah, and the thing about it is that if you feel like you're alone, then there's something wrong going on the team. I mean, barely ever will you get the defense to set up And I mean, is this like a fast break situation where your team is literally taking their time to get back down? Because you will never really be alone. And if you're just trying to force something, that is a sure way to get the defense to clamp on you, and you're going to be in trouble.
It probably is a sure way that you get a pull over the bench too. So
Yeah. So you need to work with your teammates. You need to, if they don't get it, talk to them, work with them, have them figure out the fact that they need to be flashing. They need to be moving to open gaps in the zone, and you need to be able to deliver the ball to them. Talk to them about fake a pass to make a pass. All those things that we just talked about. You're never alone unless you are actively making yourself that way. Let's see. This one's from Alex Garcia, who says, Alex is from Virginia. How can someone play on varsity as a freshman?
well, that's not something that typically happens an awful lot, even though it does happen. Personally, I don't like the idea of freshmen playing on the varsity unless they're just crazy good. And the reason for that is oftentimes they get into is the follow-up years, they become kind of complacent because they've done it already. And so I can remember having a couple of players that played for me many years ago, and one of the things that happened is they got big heads, and they didn't want to be coached anymore, and so we had to part ways with them just because I thought that they had come in as a freshman and they felt they were just too good.
Yeah, well, one of the things to consider is are you a freshman playing on the varsity and do you play? Or are you a freshman on the varsity and you sit the bench?
That's a good question.
Because
too.
I think it's more valuable for you to be a freshman that plays maybe on the JV team and actually plays than be a freshman on the varsity team and just sit there.
Absolutely.
Because, yeah, you'll get opportunities to go up against guys and practice and stuff like that and be there for the games. But I don't think it's as valuable as the actual game experience. Yeah. So every situation is going to be different. So I think that if you are athletically at that maturity level, that's great. If you're at the skill level, that's great. But if you're not, then it's not worth it.
Yeah, you probably do a lot of sitting.
Yeah. Let's see here. Ramon Benjamin says, we run a spread. What's the best option of scoring in this offense? Example, threes, driving, backdoor cuts, etc. Not to brag, but I can do them all. Well,
you have all the answers.
You didn't
right
brag.
There.
You didn't
That's not bragging. It seems like you have a good understanding of what the spread offense is all about.
Yeah, I mean,
the spread offense is essentially not a choreographed offense like others might be. Because they leave you openings where you can do these different things and be successful with them.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that you want to avoid doing is coming down there and launching a three. I mean, you mentioned threes and stuff like that, or driving. It's really about finding those seams and creating ball movement and reversals to make those kind of pop out. And
and the spread offense is about making the defense move. People are going down and screening low, flashing out, screening across, coming over the top.
And you're asking about what is the best option. We don't know. I mean, it changes from moment to moment.
It does.
It could be an open shot. It could be an attack on the basket. It could be a backdoor cut. It really depends on what you're seeing there in the moment.
And since you can do them all, you're probably in a good place.
Yeah. Naki Still Jr. says, what drills should I consider doing to be able to dribble with my left hand?
Oh.
Well, okay,
hang on. This is too easy. One of the things that people do in basketball, young people, is they avoid using their weak hand. And maybe it's your left, maybe it's your right. But they avoid using it because it's really not very successful for them. And so what happens, they get into a little higher level of basketball, and what you find out is that you don't have that weak hand, and they're going to force you to play with it the whole game. And so what you do is you spend time working on the left hand. In fact, we oftentimes will have, when we've got students, okay, this is going to be, and we're not using the right hand at all today. And we do a lot of ball drills, ball handling drills to help you improve. And you know what happens there too in the course of this is that you get better really quick. It's amazing just how much quicker you get that hand down and can control the ball.
I mean, it's really, you have to use that hand to make it come up to the level and ability of your other hand. And people think that there's some magical thing that will make it happen, or some different special drill that will do it. It's not the case. It's just it's your wonky side, and you got to put a little bit more effort into getting it up to where it needs to be. So we have a whole video series on it. And it's, I think it's called How to Develop Your Weak Hand. If you go watch that video, we talk about all of these things. And then we also show you a bunch of drills that you can use that will help you with that, whether it's the 5 and 3 drill or the infinity drill or whatever. Go check that out. And that's really kind of our advice on what drills and stuff to do.
Yeah.
But
And let me just add one last thought on this. Things that we don't have immediate success with, we stay away from. And when we are really weak with our offhand, we stay away from it. We don't want to embarrass ourselves. Hey, the reality of it is this, is that basketball is a game where you have to play with both hands. And if you don't, there's no reward for ball handling, really, unless you beat somebody. Like shooting, the ball goes in the basket. Oh, all right, that's cool. And so we keep shooting and shooting, shooting, and we forget about the ball skills that are really important for us to be good players.
All right, so here's somebody here whose name is in Chinese. I don't speak Chinese. I have no idea even where to start. But they ask, how do you shoot accurately?
You spend an awful lot of time working on the skills, the elements of the shot to make yourself better. And, a lot of people think that that is something that you go out and you spend a couple of days a week where you spend maybe 15 or 20 minutes shooting. Shooting is a very complicated skill in many ways. And one of the things you need to do is spend time on it. And so I tell our players that we have as students, I give them this as homework. Well, they love that term, don't they? And so what happens is that we have them take and they shoot at a particular drill or a couple of drills, and they have to do it every day, and they have to take and spend at least 30 minutes on it every day. You'd be surprised how quick the shot comes around when you're spending that much time just shooting the ball. And you're not just yakking it up from the three-point line. We have what we call the form shooting drill, and the longest shot there is about 10.5 feet. And so when you get that down, what you can do then is step back. Maybe now it's your 13 feet, and you're doing the same thing. And that's how you get better with your shooting.
Yeah, I mean, it's really about putting all the pieces together and being consistent and efficient.
Yeah.
We're big on efficiency, so make your shooting mechanics efficient, repeatable, and consistent. Okay, Slaibi Mala asked, sorry if I butcher your name, but they said, hey, when the ball movement slows, should one go to ISO as last hope? No.
No. That's
Make your ball, you got ball movement going.
yeah.
So.
That's why they put the pass in the game, so you can do that. Okay, and so you don't want to take and just go ISO. Maybe if the shot's running down and you've only got 5 or 6 seconds, maybe that's something that you might consider doing. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you can't just, you have identified the problem where ball movement is slowing down, so then ramp it back up.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean go to ISO. ISO is one of those things, even if you're a great player, I don't think it ever really works out all that well. Yeah. I mean, people like Michael Jordan can pull it off, but and LeBron James and Steph Curry, but it's just like you're going to be in such better positioning and opportunity if you don't get into that ISO basketball stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you're really trying to exploit advantages there, and most people don't have that kind of a huge advantage over who they're playing against.
Yeah.
Dope Unreal XX says, how do you dunk on defenders that are taller than you? Well, you got to be able to out jump those guys.
Yeah, you got to be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, there's no concrete answer to that. You have to really be athletic, and you have to know how to get to the basket.
Yep.
This one is from Lee Akisaki, who says, how can I defend and rebound against a bigger and stronger player?
Well, the thing that you need to do, in my opinion, if you're playing against a big, and let's say you're playing at the post, we don't want them to catch the basketball. And so we show our guys how we want them to play, and we're going to front them. And the only thing that we leave ourselves open for is the fact that maybe they can lob the ball over the top of our guy and his extended arm, and maybe the other guy can catch it and finish. But we try to get help from the backside there too, so that player can be there to take that away as well. And so just by having defensive position, you can defend them a lot better that way. The other thing is, if they're stronger than you, you just have to learn how to use your physical abilities to hold them off. And the other thing, as far as rebounding, blocking people out is really important in rebounding, whether it's offense or defense. Doesn't make any difference.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that you can use leverage to your advantage in all of these things, and especially in rebounding. If somebody is bigger than you, then get lower than them, get your body and butt into them, and they're going to have a hard time maneuvering. And you'll be amazed at how well you can neutralize somebody that's bigger and taller by doing that. And that's how people like Charles Barkley and Dennis Rodman, all those guys were able to not be the biggest, tallest guys, but they just thrash those bigger guys.
They banged them a lot, and you can get away with that a lot in today's basketball, just using more physicality.
Well, it's not even, you don't even have to be crazy physical. It's really about getting lower and getting your body into them, and try to jump with somebody's butt right into your knee area. I mean, it's almost impossible. And so if you get that positioning and somebody, whoever the person that you're guarding is trying to jump up and rebound, and then you jump up and rebound, they're going to get a foul call on them because they're going over your back, and it's going to look like it too. But you've set that up with all the work beforehand. And then for defense, beat them to the spot. Don't let them even get the pass.
Don't let them catch the ball. That's the key.
And then the other thing is you can't worry about them being bigger and stronger. You have no control over that, especially in the moment. It's just the way it is. So why even concern yourself?
Well, if you dwell on that, then they're going to take advantage of you. But if you get in there and you show some physicality and toughness and whatnot, they're going to maybe respect you. It's going to be more of a battle maybe, but you may be the winner most of the time too.
Okay, Naki Still Jr. is from Bridgeport, Connecticut. Right. Jonas X345 is from Germany. Charles Robb is from Kansas City, Missouri. Deets Adriano is from Lübeck, north of Germany? Cool. Anybody else? Got to scroll through. Let us know where you guys are from. Yeah, we'll get back to some more people here. Let's see. Let's go down to the bottom here and look for some more. Alex JGJ, who's here all the time, and we see you all over the place, buddy, says, "Hi, I always watch these videos. I would like to know if there's a way to build a good understanding with your teammates faster, especially with one of the players on my team. Thanks from Spain."
Well, that's an interesting question. I don't know that you can build it fast, but usually what happens is that when teams come together, there's an accommodation period, and maybe that accommodation period is days, maybe it's a few weeks, for you to learn about this person, what they do, how strong they are, how physical they are, and they can learn the same about you. It's just a learning process, not something that you just flip a switch and there it is.
I think that and having good communication from the very beginning. A lot of people, they don't want to talk, or they're worried about talking or whatever, but the more you communicate, the better, because it's going to be very helpful with your teammate being in the right spot, you being in the right spot, knowing what's happening, being on the same page. And then the other thing too is that taking a leadership role in some of this, where you kind of you're taking on kind of being the leader of your team, where you're not being the jerk, where you're telling people what to do or what they should think or whatever, but you're telling them or talking to them about kind of like what the directive of the team should be. And maybe you see some guy that's just standing there and not moving. You can say, "Hey man, maybe if you do a backdoor cut right now, or maybe try an L cut, or just try to move without the ball, that will create an opportunity. We'll try to get you the ball," or something like that. And incentivize them to do something without making, kind of attacking them and telling them they're doing it wrong or whatever, but just kind of trying to set the tone for what the team should be or something.
Yeah. Take a leadership role. That's really, really key.
Oops, drop my phone.
Okay.
All right, let's get back to it. This one is from 567 Jut, or JUT, who says, "Do y'all coach any camps?"
Yes, we do.
We do.
Yeah.
We do personal lessons, whether that's shooting or basketball skill development. We also do camps periodically. If you are a group or a team and you want us to come out and work with you, then you need to contact us and set it, and we can start to set that in motion. We just need you to help us get a spot and the people together. Yeah. Let's see. Monty Yahoo Brown asked how to break a 1-3-1 and a 3-2 zone. Well, it was basically doing all the stuff that we talked about in the very first part of the video, right?
Yeah, there are other things, but those are some of the basic ways to beat them.
A lot of people, when they do attack zones, they set up like they normally would, and that's not really what you want to do. You want to set up in the gaps where those guys aren't, and if they move to cover you, then you move. And if you are constantly doing that and you're moving the ball and you're creating opportunities for your teammates, then it's going to be impossible for them to keep up with you, and the zone will just break down.
Sure.
And eventually you'll get a guy that's out of position, and you'll find that one of your teammates is right under the basket with nobody on them, and you just hit that guy.
One of the things that is very true about attacking zones, we talked about usually just passing and movement, that kind of movement, but body movement really is important too, where maybe you cut through the zone, get to the opposite side. Maybe you're at the high post and you drop low and the other guy flashes up. There's a lot of different things that you can do to beat zones besides the 4 things that we talked about earlier today. They just happen to be important.
Okay, Daft Pow 23 wants us to answer this question so badly. He says he's asked it for the last 5 weeks.
We missed you.
Well, we promise that we never intentionally miss anybody, but it's one of those things where there's so many questions and we really want to answer everybody, but we can't, and it's hard. But the fact that you've been persistent, we appreciate, and we will answer your question right now.
Right.
He says, "Hello, I'm a Colombian 6'1" baller, and I'm 16 years old. I would like to know how I could get to play college basketball in the U.S. What is needed? Is it possible to get a scholarship? How?"
Yeah. Here's probably the best way that you can go about it, being from another
Colombia.
place in the world, whether it's Colombia or Ecuador or France or whatever, is to get on the internet and find some schools that you think that you might like to participate at. And that has, that's really kind of hard when you're not from this country, but usually our basketball is developed in these categories in basketball. Division I, which is the highest college level that you can play at. And those teams usually are the best talent in the country. And they're also made up of some of the best talent in other parts of the world as well. Then you go to Division II, and Division II basketball is a step lower, but the level of basketball is really, really good. They don't have quite as many big players possibly, but that level is really good. Then you go to Division III, and Division III is a little different. Division III basketball in this country is schools are all smaller, in the probably 2,000 to 5,000 enrollment. And the thing that's really important about them is they do not offer athletic scholarships, but they are able to help you with grants and aid or financial help that is not associated necessarily with your basketball. And then there is NAIA, Division I, Division II, and those are all available for you if you're from out of the country. And now the next thing probably to consider is this. Start finding out where you think you might like to play and contact coaches at that particular school and tell them who you are and what you want to do.
Yeah, well, here's the thing is that you have to have a realistic understanding of who you are as a basketball player.
Yep.
A lot of people think I'm just going to roll into Duke University and Coach K is going to pick me up on, right off of tryouts or something.
Yeah.
That will not happen. You will not even get into tryouts for Duke.
Yeah.
But if you realize that you're a really good player, you're a good student, maybe you could try out for a Division III team or something like that, then that's good to have that realistic kind of evaluation of yourself. And maybe you do a few from Division III or a few from Division II or something like that. But so many people expect that they can just roll up into a Division I team or getting to the NBA is just like, I'll just work hard on, 3 or 4 days a week and I'll get there. Doesn't happen. Yeah. You have to be realistic about it. You can play basketball in college, but you have to be realistic, and you have to. It's never good to just send out your feelers to like 1 or 2 places.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to do some blanketing, and it's really on you to do that.
And did you talk about them making a video and sending
Not yet,
okay.
But so what you can do is you have to realize that these coaches don't know who you are if they've never seen you play.
Sure.
So you have to put together some evidence of who you are as a basketball player and the fact that you might work well with their team. And it's good to do a little research on the coach and the team and see what they're all about too. But put together these highlight reels where you are showing your obviously good plays, but also you want to include maybe a half of basketball where you are showing what your abilities are in the flow of a game. So
it's just not your highlight films.
Yeah. And so you can put together maybe a YouTube video where you have it front loaded with the highlights and then put the half of basketball at the end of it or something like that. Then you can write a very gracious letter, email to these coaches and attach your link to that video in your email. And you can expect that many of them will not even be seen. But you might find that one coach that sees it and actually takes the time, because there's people that are looking at these things, and will watch it, and then they will try to contact you and maybe try to figure something out. But you have to understand that it's going to take a lot of effort and work on you to make that happen. And you are not owed anything either. So that's the other thing you have to keep in mind. The work is really on you.
Yeah, and if you go to our YouTube channel, you're going to find some interviews there with some college coaches that would help you understand how that whole recruiting thing goes and what you need to do.
Yeah, I mean, go back and look at some of our earlier live shows, and we talked to a bunch of people, college coaches and people that work with traveling teams and things like that, where they talk about kind of the specifics of foreign players and things like that. And I think Aaron Wolitzko was one of them.
Yeah. The coach from UCSA is one of them.
UC what?
UCSC.
UCSC.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of things to do. Well, we're going to shut that down, but go check that stuff out. It is not impossible. You have to do a lot of work, and you have to really put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
Senegal.
Where?
No,
Momar and I, who's here all the time too. Yeah. Senegal. How to have confidence in basketball. Okay. You just have to get experience and have confidence in your skills.
Exactly, and have no fear.
Yeah, I mean,
that's easy to say. I know.
I mean, a lot of people think that that there's some special thing that you can do to have confidence just come into play. You have to work on confidence. You have to work on your skills so that you have confidence in your skills. Yeah. So when you step out on the court, you're not worried about your skills not being there. You know they're going to be there. That's where the confidence comes in, right?
Yep.
Okay. Will Thompson is asking, is St. Mary's a Division I school? It is.
It is.
It's a pretty big school. Sounds like you are a big St. Mary's fan. Let's see here. Renzo Gutierrez says, how to beat a person with aggressive defense. Attack.
Yeah, you just attack them and use your feet. One of the biggest problems I think with most young players and defensively is they don't move their feet very well.
He's not asking that. He's how do you beat a person with aggressive defense?
I got you, with aggressive defense.
Attack them. I mean,
well, yeah, you attack them, and go look at these videos. They'll help you. One of them is the long one-on-one attack, and then also look at our dribble attacks. And they are counter moves to defensive players who are aggressive players. Counter moves, meaning you get them going one way and then change, you go the other.
Yeah, I mean, I think that one of the things that okay, if somebody is playing aggressively all up on you, what do you say to do?
Oh yeah, they crowd, I go.
Yeah,
and that little I don't know what you call it.
It's a little mantra.
Yeah. That tells you this, that when they get up into your space, it's time to attack them off the dribble. And the reason that's a time to attack them is that when they're so close, they have little time to react to your move. And if you attack them aggressively with a long one-on-one dribble, there usually is going to be contact, and it's going to be on them, and it's going to be a foul. And so that is a basic rule. They crowd, I go.
Yeah,
and I mean, you're going to the basket.
I mean, for me, I always liked it when guys were playing like that because I knew that I could use that against them. They're playing so aggressive, that probably means that they're slightly out of control, if not out of control. Yeah. And if you attack them, the kind of benefit of the doubt is given to you because you're the ball handler.
Yeah.
And so always attack. And go check out our videos on all the kind of offensive tools that we tell people to use. And, that includes things like the long one-on-one and the hammer and things like that. Yeah. Flavio says, hi from Brazil. Congratulations on the videos.
Thank you so much. That's
Awesome to
great.
have somebody from
Thank you.
Brazil.
Thank you.
This is a good one. This is from J Money Lil Gold 300. That is like a legit rap name right there. How to be on your coach's good side, even though I struggle learning plays in practice.
Hey, you're not the only one that struggles in learning plays. That's pretty common.
You
thing.
get better with it, though.
Well, you do. As you gain more experience, then you get better with it. Over all the years that I coached, I could remember probably most every year I would have one or two players who kind of struggled with that in knowing what to do and how to run plays. But you get better, like Casey says, as you practice more of it. And to get on the coach's good side, several things that kind of come to my mind right away. Number one, when you're not in the game, you're sitting next to him, next to the coach. And you pick up a lot of information that the coach is exchanging maybe with another coach. You'll hear him say things to players that are on the floor. And if you're sitting down at the end of the bench, you don't hear anything of that down there. And not only that, you get so far away from the coach and whatnot, sometimes you even kind of get out of the game. And so it's really important for you to do that.
Think about this. If this is the coach right here, and I sit right here, and he's looking for a substitute, look where his head goes. Yeah.
I got him. Yeah.
And I mean, that's a simple thing.
Oh, yeah.
And you'll see it all the time where the guys that don't play very often, the bomb squad, they go at the very end of the bench. There's a reason why, the coach doesn't see them down there. It's because they're not even close to them.
Exactly.
Here's the other thing, too, is that you're asking about, or talking about struggling with learning plays. One of the things you can do, and you can go talk to your coach. You can say, Coach, I'm having a hard time getting all this stuff down. Can you maybe help me diagram this stuff out? And if they're a legit coach, they will help you with that stuff. And maybe work on just diagramming that stuff. Sit down, diagram it, know where everybody goes, and then you're going to know where to go in your situation, but also everybody else.
Yeah.
The other thing is to learn or ask why that person is doing that specific thing. Why am I flashing right there? Oh, well, it's because that's going to create an opportunity for the guy that's going down here and flashing over. It will help if you understand why these things are happening. So those are like two quick things to help you kind of work through learning how to learn plays.
Yeah, and the thing that's really important here, you ask, is what can you do to get on the coach's good side? The other things that might come into play is be a great listener.
Yep.
When the coach is at practice and he says, okay, we're going to go over here and do this now, be the first guy there. Just constantly being in front of everybody, leading, let's put it that way. And you'll find coaches love guys like that if they're real. Sometimes guys will do that and they're not real, and the coaches can tell that right away. You can just through body language and all that sort of thing.
Well, here is some advice that comes straight from you that we think that you should go check out, and that is our how to make the team video.
Yes.
And even though we called it how to make the team, it really is a way for you to do these simple things that will get you into the coach's good graces, have them notice you, and also help you just as a player.
Sure.
And even though that we call it how to make the team, it really is how to be a team player, or how to be seen by your coach. I mean, that's really what that is about. So go watch that video on how to make the team. Yeah. And good luck. And Daft Pow 23 says you guys should do a camp in Colombia. We would love to.
Sure, that'd be great.
Help us figure out the logistics.
Absolutely.
Lee Akisaki says, how can I finish around the basket?
Oh, boy.
Focus on the finish.
Well, yeah, focus on the finish. But, we have a video that we describe and, let's see, the word I'm searching for there, demonstrate finishes at the rim. And these are finishes that you can use when you're being contested by another player. And the other thing that Casey just mentioned is probably the key to all of it. I get really kind of uptight when I have players who will take and make great moves to the basket, and then they can't finish.
Yeah, you got $1 million move and a 10-cent finish.
Yeah, and the thing that's really important there is not the move. The thing that's really important is that you get to the basket and you finish, and you either get the basket or you get to the free throw line, or both. and that's really important for you to be able to do.
Yeah, and when it comes down to the finishes at the rim videos and stuff, it's really about having attacks and then having counters, because you're going to get there and then the defense is going to show you something, and then you need to have a way that's going to give you a good shot, because one of the worst things that you can do is go down there and get under the basket and then do a flip shot or a double clutch or a behind the head or whatever. When we see that, it's almost like we throw up in our mouth a little bit, because it is so wretchedly bad. Because you're right there, you're a foot, 2 feet from the basket, and you're gonna throw up a garbage shot like that. So do something, give a shot fake, do an up and under. I mean, there's so many things that you can do, and maybe you don't get the perfect shot, but you get the guy up in the air and he's gonna foul you, but you focus on the finish and you might get that and one situation. Okay, this one is from Oli'i, who's here a lot too. I feel like I'm scared to show what I can do on the court. Like I can beat defenders one-on-one and drive, but I dare to do it and just pass it up because I don't want to be a ball hog or mess up.
Well,
Gotta scrub that from your mind.
Yeah. This is all about a fear, and you express it right here. You're afraid of the other players going to think about you, or you're afraid that you're going to mess up. Hey, if you play that way, you're never going to be very successful in the game of basketball, and maybe in a lot of other areas as well. What you have to do is take and let it go. If it doesn't work, oh well, let's go and we'll go the other end. The thing that is important for you to understand is that there is nobody ever, any place, anytime, past, present, or future, who never made a mistake. Yeah, I mean, it's just the game of basketball is so complicated in the things that you have to be able to do that you're going to make mistakes and live with them, because they're not like you're going to be stoned in the street because you turned the ball over.
Yeah.
What you might get stoned in the street for is if you turn the ball over and then you stood there and didn't get back in to play some defense on it.
Yeah, playing hard, it goes a long way. I mean, it comes back to no risk, no reward all the time. I can guarantee you that Michael Jordan has kicked a ball out of bounds before. I can guarantee you that he has flubbed a shot and flubbed a dunk. I can guarantee you he's taken a bad shot. I can guarantee you he's tripped and fallen right on his face. I can guarantee you that he has handed the ball right over the defense. I can guarantee you that he has double dribbled. Whatever it is.
But he doesn't worry about it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
I mean, he uses that as a motivation to do something better the next time.
Yeah, exactly.
So the thing is that if you're playing basketball with your padded suit on, then you're never going to do anything.
Yeah.
And if you're worried about being a ball hog and you're not even taking opportunities, then you're the opposite of a ball hog. And that's not a good thing either. People that are ball hogs are people that are forcing things to happen for themselves. And so, they're dribbling even though they're covered. They're forcing up bad shots. Like, those are ball hogs. If you are taking opportunities and you're not taking them away from your teammates, you will not be a ball hog. But you have to kind of pull the trigger occasionally on that stuff. And you're going to mess up. Get over it.
No fear. Just forget it.
Okay. Kobe, _Bryant Goat says, I have huge problems to drive to the basket. Can you guys give me some tips The biggest problem is I don't know what move I can pull to drive around the center.
Well,
finishes at the rim. Dribble attacks.
When we're talking about finishing around the center, I'm thinking he's talking about playing against a post player. And if that's the case, you go to our videos, and we have a whole series of videos for attacking the post on defense. And with a lot of work, you'll find out that you pick up 4 or 5 different moves. They can't stop you, okay? And the thing is that how are they playing you? If they're playing you like this, you attack them with this move over here. If you're playing you someplace else, then you attack them using another move going the other direction. So it's important that you know what moves you can do and execute and why you do that. The thing that I see all the time is that coaches are teaching their people how to do drop steps at the post. Well, they don't always play in a situation where you can do that drop step. Sometimes they're right behind you and there's no place to go. Where do you go? Well, you could do a spin move over the top, spin move to the baseline. You could take and use a jump hook middle. You could use an up and under going to the middle. So you just need to have some
Gotta have some
ammunition.
tools, yep.
Yeah, and once you have those tools in your tool bag, then you become a much stronger player.
Okay, here's one from Umar Zafar who says, how can I finish in a congested paint when everybody is there with their hands up?
Well, you know, you don't always have to finish.
That sounds like a situation where you need to kick it.
Yeah, you know, one of the things that we're huge on at the school where I coach and is that if we drive and attack the basket and we come into a situation where there are multiple players that are there to stop us, we make a jump stop. And when we make that jump stop, the whole game stops momentarily. And what happens is that you are in a situation there where you're assessing what you can do. Maybe you can up fake them and go get it. Maybe you take and make a reverse turn and kick it out to a player who's on the perimeter, and they get a good three look because you collapse the defense by taking it to it. But don't feel that just because you got into the middle that you have a right necessarily to go ahead and shoot the basketball when you know the people around you are probably going to block the ball into row 14. It makes more sense for you to come under control, see what's there. And once you've made that assessment, then you can maybe turn and kick it out. Or maybe you can go cross court to a player on the other side. But the important thing is don't try to force the issue.
Yeah, I mean, if
You're outmanned.
If you've driven in, you've drawn the entire defense, then that is where you dish it out.
Yeah.
There's no reason to take a crazy cramped shot when, you know, there should be an open person that is out there. Because if it's congested, that means that there's too many people there.
Yeah.
Dark Skin Iverson says, how do I finish when I'm fouled? Interesting name.
Hey, yeah, that really is interesting. Well, you finish just like you weren't going to be fouled. And
I felt uncomfortable saying it.
Yeah, and if you are fouled, then you're probably going to go to the line to shoot it. So
got to use your body to take contact, but you got to focus on the finish.
Yeah, absolutely. Focus on the finish.
Let's see. Ed Ans is asking the best drills for someone who master moves fast. I don't know. I mean, you got to do the same drills. There's no secret playlist or something.
Well, you know, if you're talking about a dribble attack or something like that, go to our videos on YouTube and pick out 2 or 3 of them and just start working on them. You'll find out real quick that they can be very effective for you.
Okay, Umar Zafar asks another question. It says, what are good moves to do on a double team? Okay, we talk about this occasionally too.
Yeah.
I'll do a little bit of it. You can do the rest of it.
Go ahead.
So if you are getting double teamed, what you need to do is you need to cut one of those guys out of the equation. So you need to attack one of those players, typically the one that's in the middle of the court.
Toward the middle, yeah.
Yeah. And if you do that, then the other guy is going to be playing catch up. But if you just stand there and wait, those guys are going to come at you at the same time, and then you're going to be in trouble. But if you attack that one guy, you should be able to attack him off the dribble and maybe potentially get by him. Then the other guy is trying to play catch up. But if you just stand there and wait or just keep going down the middle, you're going to be in trouble.
One of the key points of that too is don't give up your dribble. You may get caught in a double team, dribble backwards, just retreat dribble and get out of it, and then attack that guy to the middle of the floor. Why the middle of the floor? If you attack to a sideline, they can run you to the sideline, and they maybe get both of them, and they have you pinned with the sideline and 2 players. So keep the ball out in the middle of the floor.
Okay, I'm going to screw this name up for sure, but I'm going to give it my shot. This is Vigash, who asks, what do I need off the court to get a basketball scholarship?
Off the court, really good grades.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing that...
Yeah, hang on a second.
Well, I know what you're talking about, and I this is why I asked this question, but it is this. There are so many more academic scholarships out there than there are basketball scholarships.
That's true.
Basketball scholarships, even on Division I teams, there is a very few available for the team. And if you are looking at even like Duke or North Carolina or whoever, that full team is not on scholarship.
That's right.
And when you get down to like Division III, there's no basketball scholarships. No. And so you can get into college and have opportunities to play on the team if you are getting these academic scholarships. So get great grades, work on extracurricular activities, which basketball is one. But you are going to be in much better shape to get a scholarship if you are working on your academics in basketball. And I know a lot of you guys don't want to hear that, but that is 100% the case.
Okay.
And you probably will get more money for that too.
Go back down.
Oh, wait, what? Where?
Let me see if I can find it here. It was just right below the one you were just talking about. I think it's.
Oh boy.
I think it is down, Casey.
Do you remember what it said?
Hang on.
Oh, here it is. This is where I was right there.
Okay.
This is great live show.
Yeah.
Which one?
Neither one.
Okay, well, it doesn't matter.
Okay, all right, here it is. Denver Star.
Denver Star says, I asked it 3 straight weeks, how can I score by myself if I have a weak team?
Well, it's going to be kind of hard for you to score by yourself if defenders are getting off of your teammates because they know they can't score. You're going to have to rely on those people to help you a little bit. Maybe have them come screen for you. You can attack off a screen. Maybe run a little give and go, and maybe they're capable of handling that. That's a tough situation to be in because we don't know the level of your other players. I have some girls at a girls' school that I work with, and they've got 3 players that know how to play, and then there's 2 players who haven't got a foggy idea about what's going on. And so it's really difficult for them sometimes to score because the other defenders just leave the others alone. They don't even bother with them. So it's a tough situation.
You can help your teammates too. Help them understand things like moving without the basketball.
Yeah.
Help them understand things like fake a pass and make a pass.
Yeah.
Help them understand that, if you are flashing in the gaps, you're going to create opportunities. Teach or talk to them about setting screens. One of the things you don't want to do is be a jerk about it.
Yes, that's true.
But if you're being if you're showing these leadership skills and you're being uplifting and kind about it, then you will find that they will be receptive to it. If you're, being a real kind of hard ass about it, then they're not going to be perceptive to that.
Yeah, truly.
Or receptive to that.
Flying Stars.
Which one?
Right there.
Flying Star says, guys, it's nothing that you missed my question.
Sorry we missed it.
These meetings are very inspiring. Thank you. Have a good day. I went to sleep. See you next week.
All right. We'll see you next week.
All right. I'm sorry. I scrolled through. I can't find your question, so I'm sorry. So let's see. Ahmad Chima says, Coach, I feel like pickup games are totally different. What do you think?
Well, they are because they're not quite so organized. If you're playing on some kind of a school team or a travel team or something like that, they're more organized than when you're just playing pickup games at the local park. And so learn to play that in that situation. And, there's a lot to be learned in playing those pickup games at, the park or wherever you're playing. And you want to take advantage of that so that when you do play in more organized games, you'll have a better idea of not only what you need to do, but what other people are doing to help you play.
Yeah, that's like the third pillar of practice is getting all that experience and stuff in. So work on the 3 pillars of practice. Pickup games is definitely part of the third pillar.
Okay, now I see.
Okay, hold on. I know where you're going. I see it.
You see it.
Okay, so you guys, we're gonna finish up right now, but we want to ask you guys 2 more things. Number 1 is our question of the week, which is, where are you guys from? Where in the world are you from? We have Aaron Kokadog here who says, hello from Amsterdam, coaches. And then we have another person here whose name is Zeno, who says, hey, Aaron, fellow Amsterdammer. So we got multiple Amsterdammers here. Cool. And then Dev V Star is from Moscow, which is awesome. But we want to know where you guys are from. So send us your comments in the chat and let us know where you guys are from. Like we said before in the very start, we are from Santa Cruz, California. We're here, and it is very hot today on the coast. But we want to know where you guys are from, whether it's Moscow or Amsterdam or Lithuania or Japan or Zimbabwe. We want to know. And then our second question for today is this, and I just thought of this. As a basketball player, what is your strength? And as a basketball player, what is your weakness? And if you want to get bonus points on your weakness, let us know what you're going to do about that being your weakness.
Cool.
All right. So that's That's some homework. We want to know what your answer is for that, and we're going to be reading all of those as you guys post those in. Oh, look, we got Adam Taganen, who's from Watsonville, California, right near us.
Yeah.
Yep, we see you all the time. Malik Ashraf is from Ireland. Perti Alaja is from Finland. Alexa is from Serbia. Awesome. So glad to have all you guys here. Ahmad is from Canada. So send us your comments on where you guys are from, and then on what is your basketball strength, what is your basketball weakness, and what you're going to do for your weakness is the bonus. All right.
All right.
So
Cool.
make sure you follow us on all of our social media stuff, you guys. We are Shot Science on everything. Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, fill in the blank. We are Shot Science everywhere. We want to see you there. What was I going to say? Oh, man, it slipped out. If we didn't answer your question, it's not because we don't like you. It's because we ran out of time. Thank you so much for being here. We will see you guys again next time, 1 p.m. Pacific time on Sunday.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.